Hey everybody, Jim and Roth here with a very special guest, Mr. Lance Reddick. We're here to talk about John Wick and other films and TV projects, but John Wick, we voted it Best Action Movie of 2014. Lance, thank you so much for joining us today. Let's kick it off by talking about the very, very cool element of John Wick that I think differentiates it from other sort of hitman movies, and this is where your character comes in, the Hitman Hotel. All right, when you were reading that script, were you tell us about your reaction to that sort of element being introduced?
I just had never, on the one hand, you know, when I read the script, initially when I read the script, I thought, well, this is kind of a, genre-wise, it's kind of a, story-wise, it's kind of a standard revenge film. Mild-mannered guy turns out to be the baddest guy in the universe. On the other hand, the characters are so rich, and one of the things that was so great for me about when I saw the film was that what I imagined after reading it on the page actually came to life on the screen. And the whole notion that there's this whole world, there's this hotel this really, really upscale hotel that caters to the top thieves, some of the top thieves and killers in the world.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about how you found your character, because I thought what was so cool about him is that he was the epitome of the perfect concierge. You know what I mean? Even in the midst of, and we won't spoil anything, but violence and chaos, we won't say what it is, it's just like, I'm so sorry to disturb you. So can you just talk a little bit about who you were utilizing sort of as archetypes for him?
Believe it or not, and I said this a little earlier in another interview, but two things. One, believe it or not, the accent helped a lot. When I first got the offer, I didn't realize that the character was African until I saw it in the script. And then when they told me, you know, and I only had about a week from the time I got the offer to the time we were shooting, when they told me that I didn't have to use an accent, I said, well, no, I think I want to do that. And so and I did a Kenyan accent. And I felt that really helped with the formality of the character. And believe it or not, the thing that the character that kept coming to mind was Hector Alessandro's character in Pretty Woman.
Oh, wow. That's perfect.
Great.
If he was there to service killers rather than prostitutes upward mobilizing.
I wanted to ask you though about the sort of the mythology that this movie introduces. This very different element in the hotel, and it really did become sort of a talking point amongst fans and action fans. And you're the face of it, so you must be kind of stoked that this, you know, has become this sort of breakout element of the movie.
I guess I didn't realize how cool, just because, you know, so much of the movie is about the gang, the particular gang that he's after, and his chasing them, that I didn't realize how much the hotel, almost as a character in and of itself, would pop in the film until I saw it. So yeah, it's really cool.
You want to spend more time there. I mean, it's almost to the point where there isn't a John Wick sequel, I don't think. But there's
Or a TV series.
but there's maybe a world in which we see more of this hotel. I mean, is that something that you think would be interesting?
A lot of people, yes. Well, first, yes. And a lot of people I've talked to, both fans of the film and people working on the film, think that would be very cool. So
Yeah.
I want to start a campaign
quite frankly,
for
I'm
a
knocking
TV
on wood.
series of it.
So
Yeah.
Anything in the works? Or?
all I can say is that there's been talk.
Okay, that's exciting to hear.
No, I mean, I could see this being this sort of like a TV series, almost like an anthology thing,
Yeah.
when where you're like the host and a character in it, and almost like Mr. Rourke in Fantasy Island, where people come in and things happen, things change, and then
And you're the mainstay.
you're the constant.
We're
you know?
pitching it now.
The
What I'm
series-
saying is, we're going to do this right now.
The series, I mean, a sequel might work better for me only because I'm on Bosch right now.
Right.
I'm one of the leads in Bosch.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a great idea. Yeah.
So-
And I'm dying to have more stuff to do with Ian McShane, because I
Yeah.
just feel even though we never interact together in the film, just in preparing the character, I felt that relationship was very intimate.
it's a very cool relationship. Did you guys sort of talk about? Did you talk about the backstory, kind of like what that relationship was about, the genesis of the hotel, things like that?
No.
Okay.
You wanted to.
The directors talked to me a little bit about just the notion that even though I think my character's name is Charon, Charon, even though it's never said in the film, that he's the kind of guy that if push came to shove, the sawed-off shotgun could come out,
Yeah.
and the trigger could get pulled, and then it'd be back to business.
Yeah, immediately.
Yes.
Reminds me kind of I'm a big Westerns fan, and sort of the guy that runs the saloon or the hotel in a Western, who seems like they kind of represent a civilization, if you will. But yeah, there's that edge there. If you bring trouble or you break the rules of the saloon, you're going out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Legs first. You know?
I think. Oh, sorry. I think one of the interesting things about this film. Did I cut you off?
No, go ahead.
Is that it brings up this question for animal lovers, which this isn't giving anything away, but I think people know
It's in
that
the trailer, yeah.
the inciting incident is this dog getting hurt. And the question has become, how many people would have to die if they hurt your animal? For like animal. And I feel like 86 is a decent number. I feel like he kind of had it right.
Is that how many people? I didn't count. Is that how many people?
I tried
killed?
to count.
Yeah.
I tried to count. I didn't
John
quite-
Wick loved that dog, and he only had him like 2 days. But
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
don't cross a man and his puppy.
You don't.
Well, one of the things that's fascinating to me is how, in terms of storytelling, they managed to succeed in making the audience associate the dog with his wife, so that you know what I mean.
Right.
So for me, I never questioned, and maybe I'm biased. For me, I never questioned why he was doing what he did.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing about these vengeance tales where, and there's other ones too, but this one has this particular twist, right? That
Yeah.
people are like, it's just a dog, you know?
Don't say that to my wife.
Don't, well,
When she first saw the trailer, she said, "Oh, please don't." She loves dogs. Please don't have.
Oh, I saw the movie before
it's-
the
that's how
trailer
I
was
felt.
released, and I'm sitting there and I'm watching. I'm like, don't do this. Oh, they did it to the dog, and that I was in. Then I'm like,
Yeah.
Keanu, all of them, take them all out.
I think that's the divide, is like if you're really an animal lover, I felt like that too. I almost felt like I can't even watch it because I don't want to see it happen. But then I was so behind him. So talk a little bit about vengeance tales. Why? It's an interesting aspect of human nature that we love to watch this play out. Just full-scale murder for our wrongdoing.
And, I've never really thought about that. Well, that's a really great question. There's something. It's really interesting because I feel like there's this dichotomy is not the right word, but this, what's the word? It's right on the tip of my tongue. Not contradiction.
Paradox?
Thank you.
Yes.
There's this,
We'll take paradox for 200.
there's this paradox of human nature where, and I feel like we see it play out a lot in American film in particular, where we love a winner, but we also root for the underdog. Mm-hmm. So the thing I think about revenge tales is that we get to have our cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, in the time that we have you, I do kind of want to ask about some of the other sort of projects, movies, and TV shows that you've been associated with. One, by the way, I binge watched over the weekend, which was Beware the Batman, and you did Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul. There's two schools of thought about how you say his
name. This is such
name.
a debate. So
But-
you say Raish.
I say Raish.
Okay.
What was it like playing that very kind of iconic Batman villain? And because that show did so many like sort of villains that unless you were a hardcore fan, you might not know. But Raish was the big name.
Yeah.
I mean, Raish, except for the Joker, Raish is probably Batman's most notorious nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. I mean, it was. I don't often get intimidated just by virtue of what the role is, but that was intimidating.
Yeah.
To play Ra's al Ghul. But it was a lot of fun. And I had never done, I mean, the only other animated series that I'd ever done before was an an episode of as the Falcon on
That's right.
on the Avengers.
Yeah.
Not Avengers Assemble, but Mighty Avengers. The
Right.
Avengers before that. And that was a completely different experience because I was just sitting by myself doing my lines. Whereas in Beware the Batman, we would do like as much of the cast as they could get would be there. We'd do a read through, rehearsal, and then we'd do it like we were doing a live performance.
That's awesome.
And then we go
I had
back.
no idea they did it like that.
Yeah, yeah. So you're actually able to play off the other people.
So it's like
That-
a radio play
Yeah.
basically
Exactly.
at that point. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I always like when I hear you can tell sort of a little bit when
Yeah.
they're doing it that way.
Like Fantastic Mr. Fox, not to change gears too much here, but they did that too. You can totally hear it in the movie where the cast was basically all together and they just recorded it live right
Wait,
there.
what?
Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's a George Clooney and Wes Anderson animated movie, but I digress.
But before, actually, since
No,
we're
no,
digressing,
please.
I just got to say, I just finished watching the entire season series,
Yeah.
all 26 episodes,
Yeah.
and man,
Yeah, I was bummed.
we got to find a way to bring that back.
I mean, it
Yeah.
could be one of those things too, where it'll just develop such a cult following that they'll have to do.
Well,
something.
we're gonna start a couple of campaigns today. I think
Yes.
that we're gonna start for,
Well, first
for
is
the
the
sequel,
John Wick sequel, yes,
John Wick
absolutely.
sequel, and then for the. In terms of Raish, have you looked at sort of some of the other people that have taken on this role, and not that you would ever be doing what they did, but do you have a take on what they brought to him?
Well, I knew that. Oh shoot! Why can't I think of her name? The casting director.
Andrea Romano.
Thank you.
Yes.
She's-
Wow.
I'm like a fan.
You're
of hers.
on
I'm your
fire
life.
today.
If you're ever on a game show,
Yeah.
celebrity game show, and you need a
I
lifeline,
know. I'm the
your
one that
man.
asks you the questions that need him to fill in the blank.
My mind is a wealth of useless trivia.
Paradox and Andrea Romano. One of the things she said was that she didn't want to do necessarily a British thing because that's kind of the way. Even though I love his interpretation from the original Batman the Animated Series, I can't remember. Once again, I can't remember the name of the actor.
David Warner. Sorry.
Is it David Warner?
Yeah.
I just know that he's a photographer
you
that's killed in the
apologizing?
Omen. So yeah, I tried to do kind of a Middle Eastern.
Yeah.
Just true to the character's
Yeah.
roots,
Right.
too. But we're also big fans of Fringe
We're
and
big
The Wire.
fans
but
of yours. Let's
Yeah.
just face it. I mean, Fringe, The Wire, American Horror Story. I thought that was so cool.
I have a Papa
That was
Legba thing
cool.
up on my desk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what a great character.
That was a cool experience.
Might you ever, now that we're there, since it's sort of the American Horror Story players, pop up again?
I haven't been asked, but you never know. I don't know.
Was that a fun experience?
That was a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
It was one of those, I mean, not to sound cliche, and it's going anyway, but it was one of those experiences that made me remember why I wanted to be an actor. I
Yeah.
mean, my first day on set was a 3-page scene with Jessica Lange,
I mean,
where I get to almost kiss her at the end of the scene. Yeah.
they had such a great rapport. But I want to ask too about, has it been interesting for you with The Wire to see sort of I mean, first of all, it's been re-released now. It's been remastered. Have you seen any of that?
I haven't seen
The
I mean,
remastering?
believe it or not, I've seen the entire series 3 times already.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen it remastered.
Okay.
Does it look even cooler?
I mean, I think that what's interesting about the remastering is that it reintroduces it again to a whole new audience, which
Yeah.
is that's sort of what I want to ask you about. Watching how television has changed and how it's consumed has changed. It's been interesting to see The Wire grow and grow and grow as time has passed. It's not been forgotten. It's more and more people find it all the time. It gets more and more recognition.
It's the only. I personally don't think I've ever seen a phenomenon quite like it. Because when we were on, we were like, kind of that cool black show on HBO that nobody's watching.
Right.
And I mean, we had to fight to stay on the air the last 2 seasons. And then when we aired the last season, suddenly it was as though the floodgates opened it. And a lot of it was just that it reached a tipping point in terms of word of mouth.
Kind of like Breaking Bad,
I mean,
too,
this
in that
is
way.
The Wire is really considered.
Yeah, but
like-
Breaking Bad, I
Yeah.
mean, by the middle of its run, it was starting to become a
Right.
Yeah.
right.
community powerhouse. Yeah.
Yeah.
with the sort of with time, as time has passed, this is considered like one of, if not the best series on television ever.
It's widely regarded as the best dramatic series ever.
Ever. I mean, so is this the thing that you are recognized for? Is it The Wire? Is it Fringe? What is it that people say?
At this point, Fringe and The Wire, it's about 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, because I've done so many different things, I never know. Occasionally, people recognize me from Lost and only know me from that. I mean, somebody, it's really funny. After the remastered version came out, and I don't remember how many weeks ago it was, and everybody was tweeting about it. One guy tweeted, "Great actor. It's weird that he only seems to do get commercials now, because since The Wire, the only thing he's seen me do is the Cree commercials."
That guy needs to help more.
Yeah. But I mean, I had a woman come up to me in the gym a couple weeks ago, and she stopped and she said, "Oh, you're the guy from the Key and Peele skit?" I said, "Yeah."
Of many things, but yes.
But yeah.
So with the wealth of these sort of iconic things that you've now been part of, and you mentioned Lost. I know last year was the 10th anniversary, and we did a lot of retrospectives on that. But I don't know if we actually get a chance to ask you, like, what do you think it was?
We did not.
What do you think it was about Lost that even 10 years out, it is still this sort of like pop cultural touchstone? People still talk about it. And one, I can't believe it's been now over 10 years. But like, why do you think that show stayed within the kind of the public consciousness even after it's been off the air? It's a lot of genre shows do kind of fade once their moment's done,
Yeah, but except that, I mean, kind of like, I feel like X-Files is another example of a genre show that kind of changed the landscape of television when it came out, because of the way that the type of storytelling, it particularly for network television, I just feel like Lost really kind of changed the game for that kind of truly ensemble, complex story, mythological storytelling.
Yeah, it's just
and on top of which, it was just such a huge hit, pop culture hit when it was on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you, and we hate to sort of put you on the spot here, I'm going to anyway. Do you have a favorite? I mean, these are some great projects, from John Wick to certainly The Wire. I mean, Lost. I love Fringe. I'm a huge Fringe fan, and I hope that will have life after its life, and people will continue to discover it.
Well, it's funny because that's another show that it just seems like, I don't know how many people. It's funny, some friends of my wife's from college were just over, and they didn't watch Fringe when it was on, and I've met so many people that are just discovering Fringe now. Mm-hmm. So I think that's going to continue, and that's another one that even though it's a little tricky, because as far as sci-fi goes, it was kind of in the wake of the X-Files and Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
But I feel like for this may sound like an odd thing to say, but I feel like for sci-fi drama, Fringe did for kind of the family what Battlestar did for kind of the what X-Files did for kind of the detective series, and what Battlestar did for the kind of epic war series.
Story.
Yeah,
I agree with you. I mean, it's a very relationship-driven show. We were just talking about how we got to see in the alternate universe a little more of that from Broyles as well, which was really nice as a fan.
I'm just curious about if there are any big projects, characters, stories that you would love to be part of that maybe haven't come your way yet. That if you had a dream adaptation, movie, play, anything that you would love to do, what would it be?
There's a few things. Hopefully not too distant future, but I would love to do a great film version of Othello. But this may sound odd, but I really want to play Man of La Mancha on Broadway.
Wow.
Why would that sound odd?
And the other thing is, there's even though it's kind of, they haven't made it, there's a screenplay of a George Pelecanos novel called Right as Rain, I think. I'd love to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of a buddy cop.
Nice.
I know we have to probably let you go pretty soon,
Right.
but our colleague Eric Goldman would murder me if we didn't also mention The Guest, which if people haven't seen The
Yes.
Guest, it's a very cool movie.
That is a cool movie.
Also
Yeah.
this year, which
I mean, it's funny, that and John Wick were two of the highest rated films of 2014.
and what do they have in common? Hollywood.
This guy.
Well, I mean, the guest,
Ass kicker.
the guest. I mean, the producers and the director and the writer had something to do with it.
Sure, we'll give
Dan
him that.
Stevens a little bit,
Yeah, Dan Stevens did all right.
but that's another one where we had
Very
a great
uncut.
cast.
Right. Did you watch Downton? I mean, I don't want to go down a rabbit, but the first thing I said, it was like, this is very un-Cousin Matthew-like.
But believe it or not, one of the reasons I signed on to the project was because he was on it, because I was such a fan of his work in Downton Abbey.
Were you?
Because I remember the first time his character came on screen, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's boring. Oh my gosh, it's boring. And he made nice guys cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, that's if you're an actor and you're watching that, you know how hard that role is.
Yeah.
And he made that thing. I mean, every time he came on screen, he popped.
Which is very like Jimmy Stewart, right? Like, it's very hard to make the nice guy interesting, I think. I think it's super
Yes.
rare. It's
Yeah.
a very
Yeah.
rare quality.
Yeah.
But he also made the bad guy pretty interesting in The Guest.
Well, I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I mean, damn sexy. And he's a great actor. I mean, he's a great actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, before we wrap up here, any of the upcoming stuff that your fans can be looking for that you're in or that you're
Well,
working on?
you're on there right now.
The two big things are Bosch, which starts streaming the February 13th.
Okay.
So the first season. And the other thing is a film that I did about a year and a half ago called, oh my goodness, what's the matter with me? It's a comedy starring Adam Pally and...
I can't help you on
Yeah,
this
do
one.
you have the answer?
it's starring Adam Pally and T.J. Miller and Thomas Middleditch. And it's called... Oh my gosh.
It's called Wicked Funny. Go watch this movie.
No. we can't turn the camera off until I can.
Okay.
You know, I can look it up on
You
my phone if
look
you
it up
want.
on your phone, and then we can circle back since you didn't answer your favorite thing. You don't actually have to answer.
Oh, you're right. Okay, well, find the name of the movie. And, Search Party.
Search Party.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh wait, I think I know of this. I think I interviewed another actor who's part of. Who else is in that the film with you in that one?
Well, most of my scenes were with Adam Pally. The other two leads are Thomas Middleditch and T.J. Miller, who are also starring in.
You know what? I think I interviewed
HBO
T.J.
series.
Miller recently at New York Comic Con. I think you mentioned it. So
Yeah.
all right. But are there any? And of course, we have to ask everybody this because we're IGN. But any superhero movies or Star Wars characters that you would love to take a crack at on the big screen?
Oh, well, if there's an independent Black Panther movie, I'd love to play Chaka.
There is.
Really? There
Chala-
is.
Chala
It's
Slama.
in the works.
Yeah, it's been announced. He's going to be.
If it's an origin story.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, it's Chadwick Boseman is playing
Chadwick Boseman is
T'Challa.
playing. Yeah. And he will be introduced in. I love that we're giving you this
think he's
Marvel
in-
lesson in Captain America: Civil War. But let's talk to Marvel. Talk to Marvel
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Marvel,
And I'd
make
also love
this
to play
happen.
the Martian Manhunter. If
Okay.
there's a
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Okay, so
There's
those are
Justice
the
League
two
movie.
dreams.
All right,
Yeah.
boy, we have a full list of things we got to make happen.
well,
here
I
between
mean,
the
since we're
John
talking
Wick
about
TV
dreams,
show.
I mean, Jon Stewart would be great too.
Okay.
The other Green
You're gonna have to fight
Yeah.
Tyrese for that one. He's been on social media all over,
Oh, is
like
he?
doing his fan art.
I'll say, well,
stuff.
if I get Martian Manhunter, he can
Awesome.
All right, we have
Well,
a lot of campaigns to start
we
Twitter.
do,
so let's get
and
on
we're
it.
going to need your guys' help. Thank you so much, Lance Reddick, for joining us today, and John Wick on Blu-ray. And Bosch is now on the air, and it's
Streaming.
it'll be streaming February 13th.
February
Yeah, February
13th.
13th.
2.5
Awesome.
weeks.
Thank you so much for joining us today. For all things on Lance Reddick's projects. Keep it here on IGN.